I'm Hayden Wild, and you're watching IronmanHacks.
What's up, everybody? Those were some Hoka shoes, which I really love, and just tested out in the T100 race last weekend. Anyway, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an overview of the race, how I think it's different than Ironman, and there are a few surprises, and then at the end I'm going to tell you a little bit about those shoes. It's totally not sponsored or anything. It's just something I love. Having gone to the last few T100s here in Singapore, the first one was called the PTO. I mean, it's still PTO, but they didn't brand it as T100. I didn't race because I was here to support friends and interview the pros as well. But this year I figured I might as well race, see what it's like. And since I'm coaching a few people out on the course, I better do the course myself to really get a feel for what it's like and be able to give some, proper guidance after having done it myself. So yeah, it's a pretty epic course, I think, especially swimming in the Marina Bay area in front of MBS, because you normally don't get to swim there. Nobody ever swims there. You're not supposed to swim there. So it's super cool to do this right in the middle of the city, right in the financial business district, and swim in that area. Although it is a bit questionable because it's supposed to be, it's really just sewer runoff. Not sewer, but it's like runoff of water from the drains. It cannot be clean. And it's fresh water, right? It's right where it goes out to the sea. So it's still fresh water. But, it didn't feel bad to me. It didn't feel wrong. It just felt wrong in the sense that it was hot. I think it was at 29 degrees for me in the morning. Anyway, before I got to the race, the night before, I slipped on the wet floor in my house. And I basically landed my entire body on my toe. And my toe was bent backwards under my foot. And it hurt so badly, I thought for sure I had broken it. And then this was like after I had racked my bike, after everything was all set up, I was completely ready to go. And I was gonna go to sleep that night. But then this happened, and then it started turning purple. And the pain was tremendous. I thought I broke it. I thought I should go to the ER, or I don't know, but I know they can't do much about it. So anyway, I hoped for the best and went to sleep early that night, woke up about 3:45, got out of bed, and it didn't hurt that much. Actually, I can show it to you right now. It didn't hurt that much. I could walk, it ached a little bit, and it's like, hey, I'm gonna give this thing a shot. At least I know I can swim it. At least I know I can cycle. When the run comes, we'll see what happens. So I told a few friends, and one of my athletes, Jeff, said he'd bring some Advil for me, which was super nice of him. So then, I went to basically the transition area to the race location to check in my bike, to put my Garmin on the bike, to put my nutrition on the bike. And I didn't really like it how the transition and the start are at different places. It made it kind of logistically difficult to go back and forth. Anyway, the swim started, and seeing the sun peek through the Marina Bay sands, towers, as you're swimming, it was a super cool experience. I was like, I don't know, I was so happy in the swim. It was just so pleasant. And I was passing people. I don't know how I was passing people. I'm slow, right? But I'm like, hey, you need to meet a minimum swim criteria to get into this race in the first place. And they also warned they'd be pulling people out after 200 meters if they don't make this pace. So I thought the swim level would be a bit higher than normal, but whatever. I came out of the water 24th, which out of 66, it's not great, but it's still the top half. So anyway, last year, I think 18 out of the 20 male pros got diarrhea. They got sick from swimming in that water. So I wasn't sure if we'd make it, but I guess I was fine. Like I said, the transitions this year were moved to away from the finish line, across from where the Flyer, basically they're at the Singapore Flyer, that big Ferris wheel on the F1 pits, which is across the water from the Marina Bay Sands. So that did make it a little bit difficult. But I guess it's kind of cool for the tourists or the people who are visiting to ride on the F1 track there, because we started at the F1 pits. So that's kind of cool, but the complexity of it, to me, it's not worth it to go back and forth like that. I didn't like it, because if you forget something, you got to go back. Anyway, the bike was 5 laps of a 16-kilometer course, and Singapore's flat, but this course is hilly because it's up some big bridges. They actually said the first bridge hit 12%. So, you know, in a case like that, you got to shift down to your easiest gears, spin slowly. Well, actually spin fast, but spin easy. Don't mash up your gears. Don't spike your power. You got to keep the power pretty much there, pretty much where you need to be. So that was really like a challenge, trying to create reasonable average power despite having high normalized power up those spikes, up those hills. Downhills were super fun for me. I hit 70 plus, 74, I think, something like that. Just get aero and pedal. A lot of people just coast them the whole way. I keep moving, keep my power up a little bit. Then the U-turns at the bottoms were kind of messy at times. I saw a few crashes there. Plenty of guys going too slowly or crossing into your line. Not really ideal. That eats into your pace for sure. After each U-turn, it's tempting to mash down and accelerate. But again, spiking your power and potentially burning matches is not the right approach on a hilly course like this, especially considering you have a very hot run coming up, albeit flat. So yeah, I guess you can use this to your advantage. I guess I used it to my advantage by being conscious of it, because so many people are not. So many people are actually mashing all the way up those hills, spiking their power. And you know, hey, they might pass me on the uphills, but I'll get them later on the run. That was my philosophy. There was only one aid station in this whole bike course, but considering the fact that you're doing 5 laps, it's just fine. The volunteers were amazing, and it all seemed really well run and organized. And it was a big, long aid station, so longer than any of the Ironman aid stations. So you have plenty of chance to grab a bottle. Even if you miss one, you can go for it again, and then a big trash zone as well. So that was that I really appreciate. At one point, a volunteer had a banana. She's holding it up like this, looking that way, and I come up to her without her seeing me. Somehow she didn't see me, and I needed the banana, and I just snatched it right out of her hand. And there was a guy next to me from Hong Kong, and he started laughing really hard. He said, "Hey, you should have seen her face. You should have seen her face. She was so shocked. She was so surprised." I said, "Yeah, I just acted like a monkey and grabbed it out of her hand." The guy laughed. It was pretty funny. Anyway, speaking of nutrition, I tried to push the limits. I had 10 scoops of ISO, and yeah, if you're interested in the ISO, in what ISO is, I think it's a good product. I mean, there's plenty of good products out there, but ISO is actually really cheap. There's a link up here to the video I just did about ISO. So I went with 10 scoops of ISO and 3 gels, and then that banana. It turned out to be about close to 450 grams of carbs, or maybe 175 grams per hour, which is massive. I've never gone that heavy before. The most I had ever done is like 125. This is 175. I could feel it in my stomach, but I was good. I was able to get it all down, which set me up well for the run, meaning I wouldn't have to worry so much about nutrition on the run. Anyway, the five laps of the bike course kind of got old, I thought, but it was certainly fun to see other athletes crossing back and forth. You know, I mean, not crossing, but like I can see them on the out and backs, and we can see each other. Like I can tell if I'm going faster than my friends or whatever. And yep, so although I was 22nd in the swim, I came off the bike 8th, so that's pretty good. So I clawed up like 14 spots there. Usually on the weekends in this training, I mean weekends leading up to this and the weeks leading up to this, I was very minimal did very minimal training. My son hijacked my trainer, so he's got his bike on there, which doesn't fit me, and you know, I'm not really doing trainer rides, so I'm basically just doing one ride on the weekends, one long ride of maybe 80, 100 kilometers on the weekends, and then the last 4 weeks I did one hour ride at an easy pace on Wednesday mornings. So pretty minimal stuff. But now onto the fun part, the run, where I actually have trained pretty well. I've been doing a few 30, 32 kilometer rides on weekends. The course is 4 laps out in front of Marina Bay Sands, going up to, I guess it's Gardens by the Bay and the Barrage. So it's 4 laps of that, back and forth. I think there's a few aid stations as well, 3 aid stations, 4 aid stations. So you get plenty of nutrition along the way, plenty of water along the way. Again, another great course to see all the people that you're pacing against, because you're going back and forth, right? I was pretty concerned that going out into the bike, but going out into the run, my toe would not be able to handle it. But you know what? I didn't feel anything. Maybe it's those Advil Jeff gave me. Maybe it's the endorphins. Maybe it's the excitement. Or maybe my toe's just not really injured. It's just bruised, which actually, I think it's just not that injured. So it just looks bad and it hurt really bad. So anyway, yeah, the aid stations were awesome. Ice, sponges, some electrolytes, water. I just took the water, 1 or 2 shots of water, one in my mouth, one over my head, and then I threw some ice in my hat or down my kit. That's all I did. And towards the end, I started putting sponges in my shoulders. I was aiming for 135 to 140 paces on the run, but I was unable to pull them off. I think the bike took a lot more out of me than I had expected. I was kind of ready for the heat. It wasn't that hot. I mean, it was hot, sure it's hot, but it wasn't like anything out of the ordinary for Singapore. And it probably had, 25% shade as well, which was pretty good. Turns out I had paced the bike at 1.07 variability index, which is actually super good for a hilly course like that, which bodes well for the run. But still, yeah, I was only able to hold at 147 pace, which I was not exactly thrilled with, but I was thrilled to see that I was first in my age group. So that was awesome. The highlight on the run was, or the highlight in the whole thing was, on my last lap, I heard someone yell, "Cheer for me." And I looked over, it's Jan Frodeno. So I said, "Oh, you're my favorite," something like that. That was pretty cool, pretty awesome. Anyway, I was running in the Hoka Cielo X1s. Now I thought these were phenomenal shoes. They're a carbon super shoe, you could call it. Pretty fat stack there. Look at that. And they're pretty light. The new model is the X2, which I heard is even narrower, so I didn't really want them. Plus these are on sale. So these are the X1s. And yeah, I think they're awesome. They're fast. The rocker feature is extremely pronounced. They're just an absolute pleasure to run in. What I'm not thrilled with is the fact that this foam here, this is gonna wear out quickly. It's got this blue part, which is fine, but this part, oh man, I don't know how long that's gonna last. What I don't love, okay, I would love it if they had a loop in the back. Okay, they're not a triathlon shoe. And I would love it if the tongues were more like, this can get bunched up here a little bit. This piece of the tongue right here. I would love it if it was maybe integrated better. Other than that, I think they're an absolutely phenomenal shoe. I changed the laces out to elastic laces so I can just slip them on. But yeah, overall, the race was amazing. The race was tremendous. Is this a contender to Ironman? I guess so. The network's not nearly as big. They gave me a spot. Well, I earned a spot, I guess, to the World Championships in Qatar. A lot simpler than Ironman. They just give it to the top 10 athletes in the age group. So I was 4th. No podium, but I still got the spot. I might take it. The flights I saw were really expensive, like 25 to 3,000 bucks each. So I don't know about that. That's in December. I do like that they don't force you to pay and decide right away, unlike Ironman, who plays off your emotions and asks for your credit card at roll down. There's no roll down. They just send you an email and here's the link and you've got 30 days to pay. So anyway, yeah, would I do it again next year? Yeah, I'll do it again next year. Great time, great race. I guess I have the home court advantage to some degree. But yeah, I'll be doing it again, and I certainly recommend T100 in terms of the organization. They're a little bit more thoughtful. I think their attitude is just, they're not trying to exploit you as much, I would feel. And the race pictures, those are free. Imagine that. Anyway, everybody, if you got any value out of this, I'd appreciate it if you liked, subscribed, leave your comments down below about what you think. And yeah, I'll see you at the next T100, I hope. Bye.